everybody. Hello, everybody. December 14th. It's probably 35, 34, 35. It's going up to 36 today. This guy up here just in his short sleeve shirt reminds me of when we lived in Canada as kids, walking around outside, you know, in Edmonton, Alberta, in 10-degree weather with just our t-shirts. You know, not very far. I'm talking about, you know, walking to your friend's house 5 houses away, or my mom would be like, "Get your jacket on, what are you doing?" I didn't even think about it. That wasn't our first year there. It takes a couple of years to get that Canadian takes a couple of years to get that Canadian conditioning. I just saw this unbelievable story, which is hilarious and sad at the same time. Which is kind of funny too, because it's kind of a friend of mine. I was talking to somebody. Let's keep it vague. I was talking to a friend of mine. They said, "Oh, I don't like big government. I don't like big government." I go, "Yeah, nobody likes big, you know, excessive government." But I think government gets a bad rap because, you know, they keep the food safe, they keep the water safe. All these things the government does. But of course, nobody likes the government. It's just human nature. And it's funny, well, let's just keep it that way. We're going to keep it light today. We're going to keep it light on a Monday. I don't need added problems in my life because of my opinions. That's a nice Christmas tree inside the Sutton. I like it. It's hard to pull off those big ornaments, right? The giant ornaments. You get Those are theater seats for the Columbus Crew. What? Stadium seats from the Columbus Crew. Columbus Crew is the local soccer team. They, I believe, just won the MLS championship over the weekend. Congratulations to the Crew. See? Columbus Crew Soccer Club. Is this there? What is this? Is this their office or something? All for Columbus. I guess maybe they're just celebrating the fact that they won the championship. So yeah, I was defending government, and they were mad at me for doing that. But when you think about it, again, they keep the food safe, supposedly. You know, they keep the water clean. Turn on the tap, the water comes out. Somebody had to clean that up, right? But anyway, I get what they were saying. I just always have to play the contrarian. And this story will make you mad. It's not big government, but it's local government, which can be even more insidious sometimes. I just posted this on DOSE.com if you want to see it. I just put it up just now. So earlier this year, well, let's back up 4 years. Let's go back 4 years. So the city of Seattle my conservative friends are like, say no more. We know how it's going to end. As soon as you said city of Seattle. That's kind of funny right there. The city of Seattle auctioned off an old firehouse. And really cool. And I'm talking old. It looks like the fire trucks were the horse-drawn kind. It's that small. It's really small for a firehouse, right? You're thinking of a big firehouse. No, this is like, you know, small building. But very cool, you know, that old, and they auctioned it off. This guy bought it. Oh, and they marketed, this is critical. They marketed it as in their sales pitch as a, quote, unique residential opportunity, unquote. Guy buys it for like 750 grand, right around there. I forget what he said. But girl's in there jogging at that gym right there, and she's looking at me like, what are you doing? Hey, I don't know. I'm winging my whole life. A unique residential opportunity. He buys it, and what does he do? He turns it into a residence. And guys, you really should go. You could either just search YouTube for residential firehouse, or just go to joeditzel.com. I just posted it, whatever you want to do. But it's amazing what he did. He really fixed it up, and it's cool looking, you know, just like you would think of an old building that, you know, has been fixed up. Really nice, you know, with the brass numbers. They're shined up, and the paint is perfect. The interior is, you know, immaculate, you know, but he's just a regular dude. He's not like a, you know, he's just a regular dude, but he has this nice, he did a good job. I think I just covered up the mic there. So 4 years go by. Somebody complains, some Karen complains that it appears somebody is living in the firehouse, which goes against code. Somebody from the city of Seattle comes out, they go on the property, peek in the windows, and go, yep, it looks like somebody's living here. And the reason it looked like somebody was living there was because somebody was living there. So they cited the guy a violation that he was not using the property for its original intention, which is a code violation. He wasn't using it as a firehouse. I love it. I love it. It's fantastic. I mean, this is such a great story. It's just a great story. The city auctions off an old firehouse, marketing it as a unique residential opportunity. He buys it, he turns it into a residence, and he does a really good job. It's really good. You got to go see the video. Inside, outside, everything is immaculate. You know, a real asset to the neighborhood, right? Something tells me this Karen, whoever reported it, there must have been some kind of personal, you know, I don't think they are upset about the firehouse. I think they were trying to get the guy in trouble for some reason. It's always some knucklehead behind the scenes. In other words, it wasn't just a neighbor from 5 blocks away driving by and seeing this. I think it was an inside job. Somebody close to that owner was upset with them. That's my guess. It's just my personal opinion. I don't have no knowledge. So, did that cover my legal basis? So they cite him for violating code. Dude, I just love stories like this. I love them. So, as I wrote, you know, he tells him, this is wrong. I've lived here 4 years. You sold me the house. You sold this to me. You. That wasn't somebody else. And I'm sorry, I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. It made my whole day. So, what was I saying? Sorry, I'm just too excited about it. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, so you would think somebody at the city would see this, come across their desk, and go, this is a mistake. We made a mistake. You know, this is not only. I mean, as soon as you see pictures of it, you go, whoa, that looks good. So in other words, in my opinion, it's an asset to the area and preserves the city's history. In fact, the city should pay him money for doing such a good job, in my opinion. So what do? No one does that. Oh, and this we'll get to one of my favorite quotes of the day. He's standing guard. Standing guard. Yeah, nobody at the city. This is what I don't understand. I don't understand this. Why didn't somebody at the city, somebody in power, somebody in charge, the head of the code department or whoever, and just go, yeah, this is a mistake. I'm sorry. You know, we appreciate what you did to the house. It looks good. Case dismissed or whatever. Case dismissed. Look at this Elvis juice. That's kind of funny. United we stand for better beer, fiercely defiant and independent. That's the office for Stonewall Columbus. That's kind of a neat building, right? I wonder what that building used to be. I mean, it's sort of square and kind of monolithic in a way. Not square, but rectangular, you know, sharp edges. I don't know what I'm saying. But, and yet, somehow that stone part softens it a little bit. I mean, I don't know design or architecture or anything, and it looks like there's some upstairs portion there. And then the railing along the top. Somehow it just all seems to work for me. Even though it's fairly simple. Like the design of the windows kind of complement those windows above. I don't know. I'm gonna come out with a extension course called Complimenting Things You Know I Have No Idea Why. So, no, that doesn't happen. The city doesn't just make an obvious move of dismissing any charges or violations or code infractions or whatever. And in fact, maybe give the guy a call on the phone and go, hey man, this came across our desk. Sorry you had any stress about it. You did a really good job. This is a really good job on this, what is a important part of Seattle's past. And I just wanted to reach out to you. No, that's and I think the reason no one does that anymore, or even if I don't know if they ever did, but I don't think common sense prevails, because I think they're afraid if they admit anything, they'll get sued, because you've just now admitted that you violated my rights or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think that everybody's afraid of getting sued or being pointed at by a colleague that they made a mistake. You know, no one wants to get in trouble. They've got their own problems, their own mortgages, their own children, you know. But like I say, somebody above, somebody in power, the mayor or somebody should have really taken it as an opportunity to build bridges in the community by reaching out to a citizen who was doing a great job with our property that they sold him. That's the best part. So he has the owner has to sue. Well, I don't know if he has to, but he sues the city for and I don't know, I should have followed up. I had to run out the door, but I don't know what became of it. But he sues the city, saying that the company that marketed, so the city hired a third-party company to market the property. So that was one of their dodges, I guess. But his attorney, the owner's attorney, said, well, that may be true, but they have supervisory power over that decision and how it was carried out. And they're also, and the owner is also suing for the fact that the code inspector or property inspector, whoever from the city that initiated the violation, walked onto his property and peered in the windows. You can't, I don't know what it is about cities sometimes. They think they can just come rolling up on your property. I've seen this over and over in videos and stuff. They just stroll right on and start looking in windows and stuff. That's illegal. You can't come rolling up. Hey honey, who's that outside the window? Oh, that looks like the code inspector. They're just making sure we live here. I'm sorry, Seattle. I don't mean to roast you so bad, but this is a bad one. Come on, man. Now, I don't even know when this took place, but I think the video was posted from a local news station. I think it was a local news report in January of this year, 2020. Guys, we gotta find Samson. Call this number. Samson is missing. Samson appears to have taken on some additional coloring with the rain or whatever, snow, but it appears to be like a beige or light gray cat. There you go. If you see Samson, let's take a quick look around. Samson. Nah, I don't see him. I've got the number though. Got it on video. I can just refer back. It's got to be scary, man, when your pet is just all of a sudden it's gone, like they don't show up. I saw this funny video on TikTok. This guy posted a video of his dog. He said, "This is how my dog violently asks for dinner every night." Just that phrase right there is funny. So the dog comes in with his metal bowl in his mouth. He walks into the room, and he throws it down. He slams it down on the ground. and the bowl goes bang, bang, bang. And he looks up like, okay, am I getting fed? And then the owner doesn't do anything. He's just recording this. And then the dog kicks the bowl across the room, man. It was so funny. He's a big dog too, right? They said he does that every night. That is so funny, man. I don't know why I'm out here. I'm kind of getting a cold. Probably because I was out here yesterday. Bobbled it. That was a funny story. That was a funny video. That's as far as I know about it. That they cited him, that he had to sue them to tell him to back off, damages, legal fees, I guess. I don't know. You know, it is interesting. A lot of times, I didn't in this case, but a lot of times I'm reading random stuff on the internet and I go, okay, well, what happened? And I look up, you know, I search such and such case or incident, or, you know, to find out, well, what happened? Like, what was the result? And it's interesting, especially with legal cases, a lot of times there's no follow-up. There's no, or at least it's not found with a simple search, or simple Google search. And I'll go a few pages deep because I know it's not going to be the first 3 entries or whatever. But let's see if I can make it. It just, I don't know if that just speaks to the, if it bleeds, it leads mentality of news that's always been that way, especially in the digital era. And reporters are, like everybody, stretched to the limit. I wonder how many people had delusions about their industry. Actually, I should ask this on TikTok. It'd be kind of interesting. TikTok being predominantly younger people. But how many people, like, let's use journalism as an example. How many journalism students, you know, were excited and awed by the stories like about Watergate and journalism uncovering these, you know, deep scandals, and then 5 years in, were they disillusioned, right? Or 10 years in, or you could say even like 1 or 2 years in, were they disillusioned? Was it not what they thought it would be, and they're basically just tired at the end of the day doing basic journalism work, but nothing of epic levels, and it just becomes a job? How many people? How many people does that happen to? I'm just curious. And not just journalism, but I use that as an example. But doctors, business people, anybody. Even cartman. Cartman, are you disillusioned? Like, let's use your truck for example. When you saw it, and you're like, oh, this is the one. This is the truck for me. Are you still in love with the truck? Or are you disillusioned now after 3 years of payments? Isn't that what happens with love, right? Your body goes into you're basically in a kind of a temporary addiction, because your body is generating love chemicals, brain chemicals flooding your body, and so everything is hunky-dory. They can do no wrong. So it's not necessarily your fault that it changes and you get disillusioned later, right? Because you could say you're temporarily drugged. Isn't that how nature keeps things moving? Keeps the same with the sex drive. Keeps it's all survival. Yeah, that's a story. I'm telling you, it wasn't 2 weeks ago. I was telling this friend of mine after they were slamming the government. I was like, okay, so who's gonna clean the water? Who's gonna make sure the food is safe? Who's gonna put the child-proof caps on the, or who's gonna make sure that medicines have child-proof caps? Who's gonna, you know? Now, here's another story I don't know the details of, but I'll tell it anyway. And this seems a little more insidious. I won't even say the city because I don't want to get in trouble. It's in the South. How about that? So this guy is sitting at home. I think he's asleep on the couch. And a sheriff or a law enforcement of some kind comes in and says, "Hey man, wake up. You got to get off the property." And the guy had been living there for 20 years. He had been renting there for 20 years. And law enforcement says, the house has been sold. You got to leave right now. He's like, what? So long story short, I'll just keep it short. It looked like an official in the local government of the town had initiated the action to have this property sold to his daughter out from the real owner. Now, come on. As one attorney said, this is what we left England to get away from. Oh, I have to tell you about that firehouse guy. He had a funny quote. He said, he sold me a property. They sold me a firehouse as a great residential opportunity, and then came after me for living in a firehouse. And they said, you're not using it as a firehouse. Well, what should I do? Should I buy a fire truck? So many great things to that story. It's the best part of my job. Oh yeah, this is kind of funny too. There's a lot of them today. It's not funny, it's kind of sad, but and I forget who the dude was, but he wrote, it was a dude, of course. He wrote in the Wall Street Journal, I think it was an op-ed or opinion piece or something or other, saying that Joe Biden should quit referring to herself as Dr. Joe Biden, even though she's in fact a doctor. She has a doctorate in education. He said, that's not a doctor. He said, a doctor delivers babies. Joe Biden's never delivered a baby. But as somebody pointed out I think it was on Facebook where I read it first, somebody's comment was, she's got kids. She actually has delivered a baby. But anyway, I think my thing to Facebook was person, and then the quote, I push my kids. Just random person could say. Should explain that a little better. A random person might say, I push my kids to get top grades so they can go to the best schools because education is priceless. And then below that it says, same person. Same person. Why is Joe Biden referring to herself as a doctor? She's a doctor of education. That's not that's not a real doctor. She doesn't work in emergency medicine. She doesn't operate on people. It's funny, I get louder out here because there's nobody around. When there's people sitting on their porch, I always kind of bring it down a little. I don't know if that's just my shyness or what. As my dad used to say, you're not shy. I remember my dad said to me once, he said, something like I did something heinous, some heinous thing I did when I was like 11 or something like that. He said, you don't have to use your fists to hurt people. You use your words. You've been using your words. Now you're thinking, oh man, this guy was a bully. I really wasn't. But I was also just sort of ADHD, and I'd get really frustrated. And then I'd just start, you know, freestyling. Yeah. I should have said to my dad, I said, Dad, look at me. Does it look like I could really threaten anybody with my fists? All right, so back to San Antonio. Yeah, it appears that a local official in this not small town used his influence. I don't know for sure, I'm just reporting what I heard, to affect a sale in the favor of one of his relatives without due process. You can't just roll in. You can't just roll in, no matter what law enforcement you are, and say, you have 5 minutes to get out. I mean, you know, you already have to, right, as the very first action you take, you have to, you know, you get the idea. So this guy had to go. First of all, he got an attorney, but then he got the local TV station involved. Oh, that was the great quote I was going to tell you from the firehouse thing. Once the firehouse guy sued, the firehouse owner sued the city, things started to happen in his favor. And as his attorney said, he said, you know, a lawsuit, it tends to focus people's attention. You know, but again, why does a city, I know everybody's busy, there's a little thing on the docket, they have got bigger problems, I get it. But why doesn't somebody at the city, even at the lowest level, just look at something like that as being completely ridiculous? As long as the firehouse guy is up to code, and all that. I mean, in terms of, you know, fire codes and the codes. I don't know anything about it. The beauty of not owning anything. You're just like, I don't know. Yeah, lawsuits tend to focus the attention. And then once they sued, the city started to, the city said, okay, we'll look at it. And it took them 4 months. And then in the San Antonio thing, he got an attorney. I don't know if they sued or what they did, but it's funny. he got this local TV station. I won't even say that because I don't want to. I don't know. This makes me nervous. These guys are gangsters, man. They're fucking to pull this stunt off. They'll do anything. The renter who got tossed, and I don't even. Well, anyway, the renter who got tossed, he went with the TV station. He got their investigative unit to go with him, and they went to all these departments that you would have to have processed paperwork to initiate kicking somebody out like that. And they go to this department. No, we don't got anything. There's nothing. They went to like 3 departments. They show them walking into these local government offices, and there was nothing. So in other words, it was completely illegal action. And they went back the next day or whatever happened. They said the next day, magically, paperwork appeared. It was completely bogus. It was completely bogus. And they put in dates, like they backdated it. So it looked like it had been around, oh my Lord. Completely bogus. So long story short, the guy gets back into the property. The story was that the current owner, so like I said, that guy was a renter that they kicked out, that the current owner somehow owed some money to somebody, and that's what the city was using it as a crowbar to get that money, to seize that property. Well, that's some small town stuff there. That's not a mid-sized city stuff that this town is. That's back in the hills. That's how they handle things. But not when you're in an international city. I'm really not helping myself hiding this story. I don't know why. I don't even know why I care. But yeah, you can't do that. The guy owes us money, so we're going to seize the house. Well, okay, whatever you do, I don't know what the rules are in your town, but you have to go through a process. You can't just run and say, "Hey, Jim, what are you doing for lunch, man? Let's go to Whataburger, and then on the way back, we're going to toss this guy from his house with no legal standing." What do you say? Yeah, it sounds like fun, man. Let's go get him. I just find it entertaining. Anyway, the guy got back at his house, the renter guy, and I don't know. But yeah, they look like pretty clearly they appeared to be using their position in government to not only settle a score, it's not almost like a personal thing, but to enrich a family member. Although the family member insists to this day that it's their legal property. Oh man, I'm really shooting holes in my government does good things. The firehouse thing is so entertaining to me because it's such a great renovation. It wasn't like he just moved into this old broken down firehouse and there was weeds and long grass and none of that. He really fixed it up. It was like a showpiece of the neighborhood. But the other thing too is, it's funny because it's just like a regular, you gotta think of it as like an old firehouse, like 1800s, I don't know, but like really old, because it's in a residential neighborhood. It'd be like if this house wasn't here, right, but it was a firehouse. It'd be about the size of the homes Whereas, I think of a modern firehouse as being, the size of 2 homes at least, with big doors and fire trucks and, and this is just like one door and one garage door of the firehouse. And it looked like it was about the size of a regular garage door for a house today. Maybe a little bigger, a little taller. Go watch the video. You'll love it. It was great stuff. It made me laugh so hard. But what's frustrating about when that happens to regular people, they have to get an attorney. They have to, the one guy in the San Antonio story got kicked out of his house. He has to, where he was renting forever. He had to find a place to stay for months till they figured it out. The firehouse, the city of Seattle said, okay, we'll look at it. They didn't get back to him for 4 months. Right? So now all that time he's retaining his attorney or whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the costs are involved. So that's one reason he's suing the city, is to recover the legal costs of hiring an attorney and stuff. I mean, it's getting to be where we all have to have legal degrees. But not only do you have to have the degree, you have to have the money to fight, because you have to file paperwork with the city that, and then it's $100 filing fee. That's $200. You know what I mean? Yeah, we should have towed your car. This didn't happen to me, but but I'm just making it up. We towed your car by mistake. Yeah, we're not going to apologize, but you still owe the tow company $150 a day. 10 days before we let you get the car back, you owe us $1,500. And you say, well, I didn't do anything. You guys towed my car illegally and in the wrong. You owe me $1,500. You go, nope, you have $1,500. You have 30 days to pay, or we're going to take you to court. I mean, I don't know. I just made all that up, but come on. That's how it goes down. Yeah, see, the MLS Cup. That's what the Columbus Crew won. Congratulations again, man. That's a huge thing. I was in a apartment complex on the elevator that night, and this person that works for the crew was on the elevator, and we started talking about it. That was the night of the championship. He said, yeah, it was real exciting. He goes, but it just, because it was socially distanced, like all the sports, it took on a different tone than it would if thousands and thousands of a full stadium erupting. But he said it doesn't matter. It's very exciting. That's a major deal. Columbus, man. Guys, I don't work for the Chamber of Commerce, but it is a great place to live. Like, it's very livable. It's easy to get around. There's not that as much traffic as like in LA or Washington or Atlanta. Schools are good. Most of the schools are good. I'm kidding. I have no clue. I have no idea. Never had kids in school. I don't know. The trip. The weather is not as bad as Cleveland. I'm going to pitch that as our new slogan. Columbus, Ohio. Our weather is not as bad as Cleveland. That actually might be a funny funny video. Taking different cities and come up with like 10 different slogans. Davenport, Iowa, we're right on the river. I don't know. It's to state obvious things. Chicago, we've got some people. We've got lots of people. I don't know, that's bad. It's a nice looking BMW, right? Ooh, gorgeous. Beautiful. That story. So what I do is I have a series of book called well, I'll explain the whole thing. So when I began my public speaking / stand-up comedy, I would write these humor columns on my website, and I thought, you know what I should do, I'll put them in a book and then hand them out at my speeches and my gigs. I'll just give them away. It'll be like publicity. So I called it, the humor column was called Joe Ditzel Has Some Problems, so I called the book Joe Ditzel Has Some Problems, the first book. So in the old days, before you were born, there was a series of copy shops. In fact, I think it might have started here in Columbus, but I don't know. Called Kinko's. I'd go to Kinko's and you could give them, actually, you could go in on the computer and take your disc, put it into the computer, get it all lined up, and then print it as a book. As a bound book, like you would see in the bookstore, a paperback. It wasn't, you know, professional, but I didn't care. It's good enough. As we say in marketing, a minimally viable product. Minimal viable product. And I will say, to this day, if you publish a book, any book, and if you need help with, I do write books for people too. That's my day job. Ghostwrite books, but a book will give you instant credibility. Just the fact that, look at this guy's license. Youper. Say ya to the up, eh? That's funny. Do you think you'd get mad if is he in there? I gotta get a picture of that. It's funny stuff. Look at that. Say ya to the up, eh? I'll take a screenshot of that later. That's funny. Say ya to the UP. He's even got a UP. Get it? Youper, UP, Upper Peninsula, see? Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Lake Superior, unsalted and shark-free. A Youper, an Upper Peninsula resident. All right. That was cool. Were those Ohio plates? Let me see. Or is that a visitor? Yeah, those are Ohio plates. What does it say on the side? Oh, it's just a yeah, different Indian symbols and stuff. This is a dog park right here. Surprised you don't see anybody. What's your opinion on this? I don't really know. Oh, there's somebody taking their dog. I don't really know the answer to this. And if you're a dog owner, tell me what you think about this. Just leave a comment, whatever. This guy on TikTok, he's a dog trainer. And he said dog parks are the worst thing for a dog. The worst. He said, it's kind of interesting what he said. He said, dog parks teach your dog that they can get entertainment and happiness from other dogs and not you. I'm like, what? Again, I know nothing about it. I don't know anything about it. So tell me what you think about that, and therefore you don't want to go there. Plus, there's all kinds of bully dogs. Oh, this is interesting. This used to be entire dog park. It looks like that's maybe a sectioned off area now. Huh. Or maybe that could be for small dogs. I'll bet you that's what it is. But for this very reason, man. That dog just crashed into the fence. Yeah, that must be, I'll bet you that's for small dogs there. And that's for regular dogs. Because I've taken my brother's dog over here. I don't know. Or maybe they just changed it. I don't know. But he said, as the owner, you want your dog to look to you for everything. And by taking to the dog,